Well, who would have thought? Welcome back to the SportsMax Zone. We kick things off with the UEFA Champions League. The second semi-final got on the way earlier with 1997 winners Borussia Dortmund hosting French champions Paris Saint-Germain at the Signal Iduna Park. Let's see how it unfolded.
The watches are checked, the officials are set, and the game is underway. Here's Barcola looking for Mbappe, comes out to Vitinho, who are shooting from that distance. To Hakimi, and then
mentioned in the Dortmund dressing room, Donnarumma's weakness in that area.
Sancho, they got it back and he snaps back. Brandt. We're going to see Sancho on the left-hand side, but we are going to see is full krug here, and that's what he does.
Yeah, he's onside, he just bends that run. Marquinhos keeping him on. It's this first touch that allows him to get his shot away. It's an absolute beauty of a first touch. But after that, he's still got an awful lot to do. He does it superbly well. What a take that is from the centre forward.
Still playing with poise and class. To the feet of Sabitzer. Full krug manages to wedge the pass out to Adeyemi. They could be in again here. He could be in again. Sabitzer! Well, he hit it so well, almost too well. Donnarumma kept it out. With Nuno Mendes and Dembele. They've got 5 forward here. Hakimi, one of the extra players. Mbappe, can he shape for a shot? Oh, millimetres away from equalising from the great man. And the follow-up from Hakimi.
Both posts.
They're hanging on here to their 1-0 lead.
Well, that's more like it, isn't it, from PSG and from Mbappe. He hasn't had a chance like this before, and he's always so dangerous. Kobel just really was watching and hoping. Well, PSG will be hoping the storm lasts for the whole of this second half.
In by Marquinhos. Oh, what a great ball. Hardly relaxed in the second half because they've spent most of it defending. Back on that when the story is told over the 2 legs with regret, but here goes Sancho. It's a great run. Oh, and full krug's missed it. PSG unabashed with Dembele. They very rarely fail to score. He very rarely fails to score. Mbappe, Dembele. Freedom with the centre circle, but he's been able to pick a pass for Hakimi. First touch wasn't great. Now he's trying to set up Dembele. Well, if full krug's was a miss, we've just seen one at the other end.
Please the Parisians no end.
And here is Brandt. Great block by Marquinhos. Sancho played the pass, now plays in the cross.
You would still maybe put PSG as slight favourites, but if his team give the same amount of effort and application, it's going to be a tough nut to crack.
All right, so joining us this afternoon to recap the match, our football analyst, Sancho, and he was also a part of our Champions League commentary team. Brent, good afternoon. How are you doing?
I'm great, thank you. Good game, entertaining, good for the eyes.
Yeah, really, really good for the eyes. I have to say, Borussia Dortmund, they've given themselves a chance. It is a slender lead, but of course, it's one they will be celebrating tonight. Much deserved, of course. Credit to Nicolas Füllkrug. What did you make of today's match? Just an overall comment on what you saw.
It was open. It was entertaining. I think both teams went for it. Both teams played on the front foot. Really a game that saw the second half come into life. And really and truly, I'm a bit surprised that there was no goals in the second half, particularly with the kind of chances that was created by both teams. As I said, entertaining game throughout it. And, when you look at the wingers and what they brought to this entertainment, it really was good value for money for the neutral fans.
Yeah, and what an addition Nicholas Füllkrug has been to this Borussia Dortmund team. Joined the squad in 2023. He has been directly involved in 6 Champions League goals this season. Of course, 3 goals, 3 assists. And for me, Brent, it's a shock. I had to double check again when I realized that it's the first time that Nicholas Füllkrug is actually playing in Champions League. This season is his first time.
Well, look, he took it like a duck in water, really. But I know Lance and I went through the Toni Kroos pass yesterday.
Yes.
To Vinny Jr. But that touch by Füllkrug, I think it's one of the best full touch I've seen in quite a long time, because he didn't have anything else to do after he made that touch. And that touch really set him up to be able to strike the ball through, which gave Donnarumma no chance. And you would struggle in football to see a touch as beautiful as that one. Well-timed run, give it credit for that. It was close. But once the ball came over the top, ball coming over the top is one of the most, to control it, is probably one of the most difficult skills in football. And he made it look extremely easy. Look at that. Soft as you like, and sets him up for that shot and goal. Excellent finish and a good score for the main man.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you 100% there, Brent, because you could see that the moment he had that touch, all he had to do now was to focus on the shot that he was going to take, because the ball was already where he needed it to be. So I agree with you 100% that the Toni Kroos pass yesterday was awesome for us. And as a football lover, you have to love that first touch that we just saw. Absolutely tremendous, for real.
The thing is, Lance, is, as a defender, I always look at the positioning of the defender, whether they were right, they were wrong. Well, that touch was so good, I threw it out the window. I thought, forget that. Let's focus on the offensive side of things. Because as I said, a ball coming over the top of your head is one of the most, to control that ball, because you're not seeing it. At least 80% of it, you don't see the ball until it comes and touches your foot. But once it touches his foot, the first touch, he didn't take a second touch, because it set the shot up so well that he was able to hit it with power past Donnarumma, and what an excellent score. And you know, it's one of those strikes that I'm quite happy to see that win a football game. Very, very happy.
Yeah, it's something that can actually contest, I think, for the SportsMax class moment. But Brent, will wait till Friday to see that. As we mentioned Nicholas Füllkrug, and we continue to talk about, you know, how he has been such a great addition to this Borussia Dortmund team, we can't help but ignore the headlines that surrounds Jadon Sancho and the fact that the fans, were so happy with his performance today. And of course, the entire stadium went crazy when he did what he was doing. And he continues to break records, because he, based on what the stats have shown at the end of the match, he was involved in 12 dribbles today. And he breaks the record because it's the first time that a player has been involved in so much, other than Messi, which I think came in the 2008 season, Brett. So Jadon Sancho, not being accepted by Manchester United, goes to Borussia Dortmund, and he's loved, he performs differently, and he's lighting up for them.
Lighting up is an understatement. He looks like a completely different player, doesn't he? But look, I've always said this, and when a player goes into an environment that they're comfortable in, they would perform. There is absolutely no doubt about Jadon Sancho's talent. What transpired under Manchester United, I believe, is down to the fact that that club has a toxic environment. I've said it many, many times on the show about Manchester United and the challenges that they have in the changing room. And the locker room is not one that is conducive to see a player do well. Yes, I know Erik ten Hag is getting a lot of the blame because he was the one that fell out with Jadon Sancho.
Yes.
But even before that falling out, he was not performing well. And because, as I've said again, the locker room there is just not conducive for Jadon to show his talent. He was able to do it today in an environment that he seemingly is extremely comfortable in. And every single time he plays for Dortmund, he gets better and better and better. I hope Manchester United fans don't get excited, because that toxic environment in Manchester United is still very much there. So don't expect him to bring it back, what he's doing now with Dortmund, back to Manchester United, because until that toxic environment is changed, it's going to probably, I hope not, probably go back to his old ways.
Yeah, I really love this version of Jadon Sancho, looking happy and, of course, looking himself on the football pitch. A man who didn't look himself today, Kylian Mbappe, That miss, Brent, nobody expected it. There's a picture of his face, his facial expression when that miss happened. It's trending, of course, on social media. We live in that world now. What happened with Kylian Mbappe today?
The thing is, I know Donald Oliver asked me at the top of the show at the obviously the Champions League preview show if I think he's currently the best player in the world, and I just think that in the crucial moments recently of now, we're talking about right now, he's just not there. And today was a crucial moment. Today is the day a superstar steps up. Today is the day the best player in the world will score. He had his opportunities today. That one, of course, was unfortunate. There was one that was squared and cut back to him, and he didn't finish, and he seemed to hesitate. And there's moments within the game that he just goes completely flat and dead, which is fine. I understand that he can obviously create his own moments and be his very, very best. But I just felt today is a prime example why I hesitated to name him currently the best footballer in the world, because to me, he could have had at least two into the back of the net. He wasn't able to do that. And I think that is a small difference as to why I just feel I just can't put him in that category with the others that I think are arguably the best player in the world right now.
Yeah, and Brent, you just mentioned that it was for you okay for a finish like Krug's finish to decide a game by 1-0. But you just referenced the fact that there were opportunities for Mbappe to score as well. But not only him, the hitting of the posts and the goalmouth activities on both ends of the pitch did suggest that we could have seen 4 or 5 goals today.
Yeah, and if it wasn't for, I guess, a bit of bad luck, and a little bit lacking of cutting edge, this game would have been a completely different scoreline, because the kind of chances, not just gilt-edged chances, is genuine goal-scoring opportunities that really should have been in the back of the net. If it wasn't for poor finishing or just poor lack of concentration, poor application, it would have been a different score. But it does make you wonder going into the second leg how things would pan out, because the type of opportunities, the game became very stretched, very open. There were a lot of lapses defensively from both teams. And as I said, it is a game that could have gone any direction in terms of a scoreline, because both teams had their chances. So the question is, will Dortmund try to be a little bit tighter defensively going into this one, a 1-goal lead, or will that would leave PSG having to attack with more numbers and put them in danger in transition? So I think the second half may be a prelude to what's to come in the second leg. However, if both teams are that shy in front of goal going into the second leg, it may make for a very dull affair going into Paris.
Yeah, and you referenced the opportunities. We just saw one there on the highlights from Dembele, who from 14 yards shot over the crossbar. That certainly should have gone on target. The goalkeeper needed to be brought into some action there. So disappointment for him. Just a quick comment on Dembele, who didn't shine today. Sometimes, Brent, when players are up against a team that they played for before, because remember he had been at Dortmund, Dembele, before he went to Barcelona. What's the mindset as a former international yourself, coming up against the team that you played for before? In most instances, I think you're ready to shine and you're hyped to shine. But sometimes the energy can have you so keyed up that it goes in the other direction.
Yeah, there's a certain level of added interest in these sorts of games. But I think Dembele's issues go a bit deeper than that, because I have made comments about the fact that I just feel that his end game is one of the worst I've seen in football, and I mean that with all respect to Dembele, because the type of ability that he brings to the sport, and when you juxtapose that against his finishing product, scoring goals, being clinical in terms of assists, it's chalk and cheese to me. We saw it in the first half in the Barcelona tie, in Paris. We saw glimpses of it before the red card to Araujo in the game in Spain, and we saw it again today. He's a player that can get into positions, gets himself into those positions, and then when it's time to be critical, when it's time to execute, he goes missing. And in world football, every time we have conversations about some of the best, who's great, who does well, that's one ingredient that they all have. The ability to execute when it matters, the ability to execute in games that it's needed to be. And Dembele struggles in that department. And that's why I think PSG has struggled today, because as you rightly said, he had the opportunity to score and he wasn't able to do it.
Yeah, and as a result of that, of course, Borussia Dortmund putting themselves in front. I said at the top, you know, it's a slender lead, but nevertheless, they did what they had to do in the first leg and will be looking forward, or hoping at least that they can close it out in the second leg. Brent, that's all the time we have for this UCL discussion. You're not going anywhere. You stay with us. We're taking a break and we'll be back. We have a lot more football to discuss.